China. It's a country of 1.5 billion people. In the past 3 decades, they've dominated world trade, creating unprecedented prosperity at home. A new Chinese middle class is now buying cars and other consumer goods at an astonishing rate, creating a huge domestic market. As a result, the trading tide is beginning to turn. There are now trading opportunities for British manufacturing companies to help satisfy that growing Chinese domestic market. China is also very keen to invest in the UK, in joint ventures with UK companies, helping to create jobs here too. A key industrial development area in China is Changshu. It's a major city with 1.8 million inhabitants. That's bigger than Birmingham. And it's one of the focal points of the burgeoning Chinese automotive industry. Changshu is well connected to the rest of China by a modern motorway network. It has its own international deep water port on the Yangtze River, capable of handling vessels of up to 50,000 tons. In 2013, over 370,000 containers were shipped through here. The city's industrial output is estimated to be an eye-popping $450 billion a year. Foreign investment in the city already tops $25 billion. Many major international companies are already operating in Changshu in the automotive sector and in other areas of manufacturing. Development in the area is controlled by a local government department called the Changshu Economic Development Zone, or CEDZ. Within the development, an area of 70 hectares has been set aside as the UK Industrial Park, reserved specifically for UK manufacturing companies. The UK company UKIZ, working closely with CEDZ, have the concession to introduce British manufacturing companies into this new industrial park. As a case study, let's look at what we were able to do for 6 companies related to the automotive sector in March 2014. We took their senior decision makers on an all-expenses-paid visit to Changshu. We introduced them to potential customers and potential business partners. We introduced them to potential Chinese investors. We made sure that they met the important people in the Chinese local political system.
Distinguished mayor from Shrewsbury, distinguished councillor, and distinguished other guests from Bar that welcome you to Changshu. Today, me and the mayor of Changshu Municipal Government, it's our great honor to receive you here.
And we put them into a sound working relationship with officials at CEDZ.
Here's Mr. Yang Yuebun, Vice Chief of the Changshu DRC.
Raymond Liu is the Chinese director of UKIZ, interviewed in Shanghai at the end of the visit.
We have met local government officials. We've met with the mayor of Changshu and also the head of the Changshu Economic and Development Zone. They were all very supportive of this whole UK industrial zone. In this week, we also we arranged a few seminars and meetings. We created that opportunity for companies, British companies, to talk face-to-face with Chinese potential customers and other companies which are potential partners to create joint ventures in the future.
Jaguar Land Rover have just invested £50 million here in a joint venture with the Chinese car manufacturer Chery. It's due to have the first cars rolling off the production lines in the summer of 2014. We weren't allowed to film in the plant, but had the opportunity to take the suppliers on a factory visit, and afterwards to meet company president Chris Bryant.
I would say that the people down this side of the table have been fantastic for Cherry Jaguar Land Rover, extremely open and supportive of what we're trying to achieve here, and you'll see some of that in a moment. But I don't say this because I'm standing with them, I say this openly to everybody. I don't think we could have picked a better partner to set up a new automotive company here in China. Had you gone to the facility 11 months ago, it would have been a field. And everything you saw this morning has appeared in the last 11 months. Now, we were doing some below ground work prior to that, but literally April the 16th of last year was the first piece of steel that went above the ground, and since then you've seen what's happened. And I was talking with John just before we started. The speed at which things happen here is just mind-blowing. Sometimes it makes me so happy because we're going to be successful in what we're doing in China. Sometimes it makes me feel really embarrassed about how long it takes us to do things in the UK, but we've certainly got some lessons to learn from the Chinese and how they are able to develop the economy.
When production starts in the CJLR plant in the summer of 2014, around 60% of components will be imported. Chris Bryant is understandably keen to encourage potential quality suppliers to set up here in Changshu. The Chinese have their own indigenous car production here too, with a completely new brand, Koros. The new Koros factory opened in 2013.
Probably the first half of 2012, that is when we started the piling works. Our plant really started to grow second half of 2012. The first car we built out of this plant at the end of 2012, we had an extremely steep ramp up in getting the whole facility ready to run. That means to build the plant, to build the facility, to install the equipment, to hire all the workforce, train the workforce, etc. So this all happened within 6 months, John, right? Something like that, 6 months.
Clearly, the message is, if you come to China, you should be prepared for things to happen very fast.
This car achieved not only Euro NCAP 5-star last year, it actually came best in class. It was the second safest car of all time tested. So if you're going to have a crash, have it in this one.
Changshu Automotive Interior Parts is a local supplier of vehicle interior trim packs, including the dashboard, center console and door trims.
And last year we were about $600 million US, and we have very fast growth. This year we should finish in 2014 because we have a lot of new business that we've now started production on. We'll finish at about $800 million US. We're making the complete Koros interior, the door panels, instrument panels. And so this car just launched. It's made in the special economic zone. Right now we're about 400 a month, so they're just filling up their dealer system. But our joint venture partner Magna actually is very big in the UK. They have facilities in Hartlip and supplying both to Range Rover and to the Mini Cooper. We have actually a new concept plant in Changshu where we're making front end modules, which we supply to Koros.
CAIP are all geared up ready to supply interiors to CJLR when their production comes on stream later this summer. Torin are the biggest manufacturers in the world of car lifts and jacks, both as OEM and for the DIY and garage markets. For the right company, they could potentially be ideal joint venture partners. Huadong creates specialist vehicles onto standard truck chassis. Here in China, day-to-day business and shopping is still done in cash rather than by credit card, and that creates a demand for high-security cash transportation vehicles. After visiting the facilities, there was an opportunity to meet the companies formally, and for the British and Chinese companies to make a presentation explaining their interests or the opportunities that they were looking for. Perhaps the most important part of the trip was the opportunity to meet Chinese investors who will often pay a substantial part of the initial capital cost of a project, including building a new factory, in exchange for a share of the profits or even a simple rental scheme. The March delegation met the local vice president of the Bank of China, among others. It's the introduction that's so important. Being associated with well-connected people is a vital part of doing business in China. They call it guanxi. Without it, you won't get anywhere. Government officials here are key to your success. The heads of the local towns and states are known as mayors. They are, in reality, government ministers with enormous influence over the success or failure of your attempt to set up here. We'll make sure you get to meet the local mayors and forge good working relationships with them. More importantly, perhaps, to meet them socially over dinner. You can expect to meet officials of the Changshu Economic Development Zone. They, above all other, will assist you in setting up here. It's their job to do so. They will help you to recruit staff. They will help you to set up specific training programs tailored precisely to your needs in the new Changshu Technical University. They will organise low-cost, good-quality housing for your staff. And they'll provide ongoing support in so many ways. During your visit, you'll learn about the cultural heritage of this 3,000-year-old city. You'll see some of the tourist attractions in and around Changshu. And you'll be royally entertained night after night. China is the second largest economy in the world, and it's growing at an astonishing rate, especially in the automotive sector. Hundreds of British and international companies are already supplying China because this is where profits can be maximised for the next several decades. The UKIZ initiative has created a unique, game-changing opportunity for you and for your company to stay ahead of the game. So get in touch with the UKIZ team now. UKIZ, we're here to help.